And a huge shout out to Spider Farmer. Spider Farmer's had a place in my garden for a number of years. One of my favorite lights is the SE5000. This light fits a 4x4 tent perfectly. If you're looking for a high quality light for a budget price, head on over to spider-farmer.com and check out an array of lights. Everything from the SE series to the SF series, you're going to find a light for your budget. If you check out the SE5000, you're going to look at about a $569 light. This is a light that's probably going to last you a very long time. It's full spectrum, it's dimmable, and it's going to fit that 4x4 tent exceptionally well. Use promo code PIGEONS420 to save yourself a few dollars off at checkout and to help support the show. A huge shout out again to Spider Farmer for helping to support today's show. Go on over and get yourself a new light today. This stream is also brought to you by AC Infinity. AC Infinity has got a quality name when it comes to products for your garden. Whether it's an inline fan or the Controller Pro 69, they've got you covered. They've got a controller that's going to communicate between all of their devices, from the humidifier to the clip-on fans, regulate everything accurately with the Controller Pro 69. If you go to acinfinity.com, use promo code PIGEONS420, you can get some quality equipment for a quality price. Get the equipment that your plants are going to need and grow some incredible dank. Thank you, AC Infinity, for sponsoring today's live stream.
But yeah, my wife's got my earbuds in the beds. I had to go steal the kids' gaming set.
Well, at least they worked, man. You were able to just plug it in and go. That worked.
Yeah.
GrayWay, before we get too far, man, little bit about you. Who are you? And you consider yourself a legacy grower, so I kind of want to dive into that.
Let me explain.
Go ahead, please.
So how I define legacy grower would be, I've been at it since the early 90s. Now, I thought long and hard about this, and I spent a lot of time on the forums back in the day, like, what's it called? Before Overgrowth, weed, not weed maps, but weed, the original one that was back in the mid 90s before S and what's his name went and started Overgrowth. But anyway, I have a legacy name, like I have a handle that I used back then, but it's all legal for me now. It wasn't then, so I don't want to associate the two. Because, you know, back then everybody moved in the shadows. You had to.
Yep.
So here we are. But I've been on and off at it since then. I spent a little bit of time in the corporate world. I took a break when my son was born, and in Virginia, finally got with the times, and here we are. So I can come out of the closet. So yeah, that's how I consider myself a legacy grower.
That's what I would have when I say legacy grower, that's exactly what I mean. Someone who's transitioned from the legacy market, if you will, the gray market, the black market, the illegal market that has transcended into legalities, really, that can now perform their right, in my opinion, to utilize.
Yeah, I'm gonna make y'all laugh real quick. So I'm so old and crusty that my first grow light was a street light we stole.
Oh yeah, really? Oh, let's go.
Oh yeah,
a street light.
Yeah, man.
Okay, that's fucking awesome.
Old big ass fluorescent lights for veg, and a literal street light. It was shaped like an oval. I still got it, man.
You still have? Oh, get out! I have the ballasts from my HPS lights still screwed to the, and I keep them there as like the boneyard. Yeah. Oh, that's wicked. Okay, well that's yep. Old. That's old. I guess tell me you're old without telling me you're old. I grew with a street light. Yeah, street lamp.
And you know we've got it so good now. Like man, back in the day, coming across a seed, it's hard. You got one out of a bag seed. You're like, oh, you know, and it was probably some crazy sativa that you couldn't finish in 16 weeks. You know, I wasn't growing mids. I was growing lows. You know, it was terrible.
You weren't
we
alone.
were trying. And, you know, we were smoking Mexican brick weed. It tastes like soap. And, it was terrible. You don't want to do that. But yeah, so it's come a long way. Now I can freely order seeds. I don't have to worry like, hey buddy, I need to send this package to your house. I got some seeds coming. You know, I was on CBay. I won the auction. So, but I can't send them here because they might come looking.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And now, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, they used to
Thank
show
you,
up
Farm
in
Bill.
DVD. Yeah, thank you, Farm Bill. Yeah, they used to show up in DVD cases and T-shirts.
A shirt.
Yeah, I had a T-shirt. My T-shirts never fit.
Right.
Yeah, and you mail the
I don't
cash.
care what they sent.
Yep. And you had to mail the cash first in hopes of them just sending the product. Yeah.
I used to go to the drugstore to get a money order.
Yeah, right. Yep. My, how times have changed. So you've been growing through the 90s since the 90s. Started growing with a street light.
Yep.
How long you been smoking?
Oh God, let's see. I got turned on 87, so I was 12. Not a good thing. Don't recommend it. Not a fan. Don't do that. Nope, never. But that's when it happened for me, and you know it was what it was. But look, I got to make this clear. I'm a Gen Xer. Our parents were handing us beers and thinking it was funny. I used to ride up to the store and buy beer for my dad when I was like 11 because everybody knew us, and they knew that if I didn't go to my dad and they said something and I got caught, it'd be horrible. So that's the scene. Yeah, I'm not promoting any kind of cannabis for kids. Adult only. The science is there. Kids don't need to be using it.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I'm glad you're clear. I think a lot of our generation started consuming at that very similar age, to be honest with you, because granted, I can't speak. I was a late bloomer. I didn't start till I was like 17. I first tried it when I was 16, but I didn't really get into it till I was 17. But a lot of my friends were doing it 12 years old, 11, 12, 13. My boy is 12 right now, and I could not imagine me finding weed in his bag. You know, I just couldn't imagine it because he's just so innocent, I guess is the best way to put it. And so it scares me. It scares me. Kids should not have access. Well, I want to make myself clear. You know, kids should not be smoking cannabis. There is a ton of evidence to suggest that there's a medical benefit that these children can really utilize, and it's beyond known in my opinion at this point. Anyone who says is a negative is really just perpetuating propaganda, because there's plenty of science and testimonials to suggest that there are children out there that are utilizing edibles, tinctures, and are living a very satisfied life. I guess
it's made a real difference for some kids out there with seizure disorder.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That's huge. Yeah, that's huge. Yep.
And about me, I want to add that. See, because we get accused of a lot of things online now, I see. Like in the past couple of days, I've been called a gatekeeper so many times it's not even funny. And it's not that. I really want to make this clear. I'm an advocate for the plant medicinally first, because that's the most important use. It really is. It's changing lives for people. The veil has been lifted. The lie about cannabis is over, and people are realizing it. And it's a fabulous thing. So all my opinions are based on all the work that is taken to get here. and the work we still have to do, and how important it is for that group. And then beyond that, we all deserve it recreationally, responsibly. So that's my point of view, and I don't expect you to agree with me. You don't have to. That's just mine.
What do you think?
You do you.
What do you think? What do you think the label gatekeeper means? Because when trolls speak up, I try to really break down what they're trying to say. It's and what do you really think they mean when they're trying? I'm sorry, I don't mean to say as trolls, because some people that do critically criticize critically, and that's fair.
Right.
So I don't want to label them as trolls. But what do you think they mean when they're saying gatekeeper?
I get they for some reason they think we want to keep the black market going, which is ridiculous. Like, we want to keep it out, or like we're afraid of change. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm not. Anybody that goes to my Twitter will see the video that I just posted with that silly plant that I screwed up really bad. Talking about how I'm thinking about educating myself on some of what these young growers are doing and having fantastic results. I mean, beyond fantastic. So I'm not against change. I just, man, look, here's what I know. Back in the 80s, I could go and buy candy cigarettes. There was pretend beer for kids. And that stuff went away because of what it was. And those products are poisons, but they're socially acceptable because they figured out how to brand them. And that's where we're at now. The cannabis community has got these weird little segments. And like, you are really big against packaging that screams kids and makes kids want to go eat that gummy, which is horrible. And people will call you a gatekeeper because you're trying to fix that problem. They don't understand the problem, apparently, because that's a real problem. But that's a great example of how they would call you a gatekeeper.
Okay. I think I'm picking that up. I kind of get it. So I'm not going to say then that I'm a gatekeeper, because no, I think I'm on the boat of legal. There should be just it's a freaking plant, bro. So for me, so I'm just like, let her go, man, let her go. I just really don't see any issue with it. And I know a lot of people are anti-market. They're anti-legalization because they don't want the free market or capitalism or the politicians to get a hold of it and for it to just kind of just go astray. But I feel like that's how it's been for the last 100 years. Now we need to treat it like it just grows naturally as it does, and let people grow it as it is, a tomato or tobacco, or just insert plant that might give you a little bit of something, because tobacco is far more damaging, but we can grow tobacco anywhere, right? So it's crazy to me that anyone would be against legalization, and not just legalization in terms of regulation. I just mean just let it go. Let it go. Obviously, I'm pretty sure if you were trying to, say, smuggle a mass amount of tomatoes through the border, Sunrise or whatever the tomato plant, they're going to be the ones that shut you down more than the government. They're going to be the ones that try to figure out what's going on with your brand. So that's the free market, and I think it should just happen. But again, I people are opposite of that. So I don't see you as a gatekeeper. But what I do know is that people within our community and our culture who are still illegitimate are still pioneering, fighting for their legitimacy while getting stampeded on by the corporate side of things, where it's like, yeah, you're right. Right now, my heart is with the legacy market. My heart is with the black market, if you will, only because I'm afraid of what has already happened in regards to exploitation by Wall Street, for lack of a better word. I'm just going to call money Wall Street, and I think that's more or as damaging as anything else. So I think there's a difference. I don't think it's a gatekeeper. I think you're just picking. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I just feel like I'm championing for legitimacy is really what it is.
Right.
So it is. Go ahead. Sorry, you're gonna say something.
Well, no, it's just I'm just agreeing with you. And you make a really good point about that. Is that we're all going to see aspects of the cannabis community differently, and
we should.
I'm at a point, right. Well, I'm in a legal state, so my focus might be very different from a guy who's not in a legal state, still just trying to get there. So I completely understand that. And we might have different opinions based on it. So, and that's why I really appreciate you giving me the platform, because, man, that crazy video I made, I was never expecting that.
What did that get? 60,000 views, I'm pretty sure, is what that's at now or something.
63 something.
Yeah. That's pretty real.
So here's the deal. Like, if you go to my feed, you'll see plant pictures. I share lots of other people's stuff. I run some contests out of my own seed stores. Man, I've got thousands of seeds. I'm a collector, like a hoarder. I came from a time when we didn't have any. Mm-hmm. I'm terrified of going back. But that's what I do. But every once in a while, I decide to get on a tricycle, pedal myself into the circus, and play with the clowns. So I did that day. And then I ended up making this rant video at the end of the day. And it was just a rant. But man, it went off. Oh, and look, while I got the platform, Bisha, I'm so sorry. That was never meant to come off that way. Okay, so that example was only meant to be when George Foreman is talking to you about the general, we don't really think that he has the general for car insurance, do we? That was the only point in that. It was a rant, man.
Okay. I'm glad you said that, and we're gonna give a little context here, because as I'm sitting here with the bong, I'm gonna try not to have a hoot while the main shot's on me. But the context for that video was you had, and it's crazy that it even went on my feed, because I got to be honest, I had never even come across your work before that video. So these videos clearly, even though there's something to be said about the stirring up conversation, right? Whether good or bad, the participation and inclusion, or not inclusion, but the participation by individuals helps these posts and these things go viral. And so you made a post that focused on THCA. That was the primary conversation of that. And then there was a little segment in there where you had ranted in regards to Dusa and just the video that he had done or whatever. It was so insignificant to the point at hand. It was just like, I kind of see what you meant in regards to a rant. It nonetheless, his name was mentioned, but I do see how it was a rant. You see a post, you see something, and then you just run with it. And so it was in regards to work and the THCA and so on and so forth. And then I posted that. I saw that clip. I got a hold of you. I said, hey, I actually really enjoy what you said in regards to the THCA, and I want to post it. It's a hot take, but I like it. And in hindsight, I should have removed the Dusa bit. I really should have, in fairness to a colleague of mine. But I didn't even, the reason I didn't, and I want to be open about this because I have the platform as well, is that the day before I had put out a video about a dude like whooping the shit out of his wife, and I had edited it heavily. I didn't want the F-bombs being dropped. I didn't want, so I edited the curse words, and I got beat up in the comment section because I had edited it, and people were like, you're just editing this to make this sound bad on his part, da 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 da. So this video came on the heels of that. I didn't want to edit anything. I was like, just let it out. So there's my context, and then of course I added the bit at the end that I don't think was necessary whatsoever, and it was kind of ingenuine or disingenuous.
Well, it's kind of the same thing that happened. It's really out of context because you're speaking to one thing, but you take this one little segment out of it, and then you spin it up,
Right.
and that's all people hear. So my rant about the THCA wasn't even about THCA. It was about the disingenuous marketing and the way it's sold. Like, people can't seem to separate the conversation that THC is a cannabinoid, and it's also been now made into a brand, not a specific brand, but branded as legal, but it's not. I posted several things about that in regard to that conversation, that there's been independent studies, and they took 52 random samples, tested 49 of them here in the States, who tested 52 of them, 49 failed about being legal. But people have the right to know. It's not that I don't want you to have it. I want you to know what you're getting. So that was the rant.
Yes.
Not even about whether THC, be carbs, or any of that. And that was the whole point in regard to why I mentioned Dusa in the first place. And it wasn't even him. He was just the most recent example that came across my feed with that marketing hype.
Right.
So that's what it was about.
Yes, and I get it, and I get it. Insert, and now of course I'm not trying to give excuses or none of that shit. I said what I said, and I stand by what I said, and I'm sure you'll do the same thing. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I stand by what I said. It's just if you want to get more context, let's sit down and have a conversation. Yours was like 6 minutes. Mine was 7 minutes. Like, you can only give so much context in that amount of time, right? And I know you've been very open in regards to inviting your critics, if there's any other way to say it. You've been inviting your critics to sit down and have a conversation, because in my opinion, you were very clear about your stance on THCA that had nothing to do with THCA itself, but more so just the lie that people are being told, to which I agree with. That it's the lie. I don't care that it's illegal. I don't care that if people get it, they like it, and it ships to their house and it's easy and great, then fantastic. That's great. Right. Enjoy. But the lie is, in my opinion, that it's legal. That it's legal. Because if it's over 0.3 THC, as per the Farm Bill in the United States, 2018, correct me if I'm wrong on any part of this, it's considered hemp under the percent. Anything over is considered. Go ahead, Ken.
Right, and that's the thing people misunderstand. It's not 0.3%. It's 0.3 of a percent. It's written right in the Farm Bill. You're going to read it. It's complicated to read, and that's why it gets left up to interpretation by the states. But it's still, that's the facts.
Okay, yeah, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was 0.3 of a percent. I thought it was 0.3%. So
okay, so let's think about that for a second.
Wait.
So if it was 0.3 of a percent, that would make it technically not of a percent. If it's 0.3%.
Oh yeah, that's 30%.
That would technically make it 30%.
You're right.
I mean, that's top shelf.
Yeah, you're right. So that's incorrect. You're right. That's incorrect. It is 0.3% of a. Okay, you're right. So that's a misunderstanding. So I can understand, where people are starting to get confused. But again, still not the point. Right. of the conversation, right? The point of the conversation was, if anyone is selling you THCA that is 30%, that is illegal product as per any bill or any law in the United States. And I'm not saying that that's not a product that's going to get you high. I'm not saying that's not a product that you're going to enjoy. I'm not saying that that's a product that's worse than any other black market product. I'm just saying it's still illegal. right?
Right. But
Yeah.
there's a good side.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about that.
Go ahead.
I can't take credit for this. You'll have to look on my feed. I tried to find it. So much to do with this, it got lost. But somebody commented that the good news here was that hopefully when everybody figures out that real cannabis has been going all over America and the wheels didn't fall off, nothing bad happened, society thrived, car accidents didn't go up, people weren't doing crazy stuff, alcoholism might even have gone down. Who knows? The point being is that the lies being exposed, even if it's illegal, when that comes out that it is, you get to laugh and say, well, I thought it was so bad. See what I'm saying?
The thing is, as someone who tries to spread there are so many people out there that just don't know. They don't know.
Right.
And what frustrates me is when there's people out there, and I'm not going to, Mr. THC is one of them, to be honest with you. And I'll be the first one to say it. It's frustrating to me because if this guy can get his hands on good product, why is he pushing THCA? That's 30%. But I digress. What's frustrating is that there's people.
I'll tell you why.
Well, there's grandmas, there's grandpas, there's new smokers, there's the cannabis curious. There's a ton of people out there that don't know otherwise, that think, I found a loophole, I'm getting some legal product, when in reality, it's no more legal than the stuff you're going to get at your buddy's house from 3 blocks down. So sorry, go ahead, please.
So let's talk about why this has happened. Everybody knows the legal market is saturated. It's really hard to move top shelf in some places. I hate to use this as an example, but Jim Belushi was just talking about it, and it's kind of silly, but to use him, and no offense to Jim Belushi, but we understand the star aspect and everything that's going on with that. Not that he doesn't grow good weed. Never smoked it, don't know. But my point being here is he was just in an interview talking about the dispensaries didn't want any of his chronic that was less than 25% THC. Even though, and we can talk about this a little bit later if we have time, even though the entourage effect on some of this cannabis makes it really good. And people don't understand that. It's all about that one number. So the market's saturated. So you have this whole crop, you can't really move in the legal market for any kind of profit. But mids sold as THCA still bring top dollar, black market money. People are paying in $60 an eighth for that. Come on, man.
Yeah. And see, that was it. My argument was, and they filled my comment section. And again, I want to make it clear, if you are getting this product, okay, so it sounds like THCA is, or at least that product that's being pushed, that brand now, is shipped to their door in a way that flower is, or sorry, THC isn't. So that was the argument that in the comment section where people were like, well, I can have it shipped to my house. And I said, okay, but it's still illegal. So what's the difference between illegal product 1 or illegal product 2? And this is the thing, is like there's vulnerable people out there that will think, well, product 1 isn't illegal. It's a loophole, pigeons. I'm getting a loophole. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're getting it shipped to your house through what they're telling you is AKA a loophole, but that loophole, it doesn't exist. If it ever got tested, if it ever got hit, it would be over the limit. And
right.
And then I just think it's dangerous. And so when I make a comment, and see, naturally when I think about this, it's children that are buying this product because they don't know better. It's old people. It's vulnerable people. There's just no other better way to put it. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. This is vulnerable people. And so that frustrates me. And so when I say something, it just makes sense to me that these I don't know that, and that's why I say like that's where I feel like we got to make sure we know better. If I was ever approached by any company that's going to be pushing this shit, the first thing I'm going to say is no. And because in fairness, DUSA confirmed and that there's no age verification whatsoever when you order this product. Nope. No age verification. So tell me it's not for children.
Right, and that's just it. And I want to circle back to that loophole.
Please.
If anybody can tell me in any instance in history where good people, honest people use loopholes, then I'll shut up. I mean, maybe there's an example. But if you're lying to get a COA, a certificate of analysis, that says it's legal, then you can lie to get a CO that says it's not full of pesticides or full of heavy metals, who knows what. And look, I'm not trying to say that the weed you get from your black market plug is any better, but that's an informed decision. If you're buying something that you're being sold as legal and safe, but it might not be, that's a problem.
Yeah, and that's my argument. What's the difference between a legal product A or a legal product B? Because really, at least with a legal product B, it's your buddies. You know, there's at least some chain of responsibility, right? Whereas like with the THCA, I don't feel that there isn't an accountability. You're busted, you know, and of course you might mention where you got it from. But you know, I would hate to see anyone fall victim to this
Man,
lie.
in America, you can get raided for selling raw milk. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're not
And
wrong.
this stuff is happening. Like some farmer got raided for selling his neighbors some milk, and people are shipping this. It's crazy right here, man.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's just a crazy world. It's a crazy world because I feel like priorities are all messed up. All messed up.
Well, in America, it all comes down to that 1961 treaty. I can't remember what the name of it is right off the top of my head, but that's what it is, and that's why we're doing the workaround in our government with descheduling, because that circumvents that treaty, which is another super comical thing to me because America's so great at keeping treaties.
Yeah, nowhere is good at keeping. You're talking to Canada. No, I'm from Canada.
Okay,
We're treaty reneging capital of the world. So yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Politicians.
One thing I wanted to talk about with you was you are also a champion for the cannabis space on Twitter.
I am.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that on Twitter? Why do you think we should go to Twitter? And can you speak on that, please?
Yeah, so I haven't been in the cannabis space long there. I had to feel it out. I actually started on Twitter in the crypto side, X, whatever it's called now, in the crypto side of things. But I started paying attention to the cannabis content, and I've been trying to involve myself and make friends there, and because it's a nice place and we're welcome. There's no censorship. And Elon is great to be free. I mean, that's honestly the downside, is that whereas these plugs that are selling this fake THC stuff are doing all their business.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the dark side of the Twitter, is it's full of scammers and lies and cons. And a couple people made that comment on that post regarding that. And that's what I want to change. I want to get in, and I want everybody listening to hear me. Make content. If you're the kind of person that wants to see good content, put some content out there. And look, that haters are out there. Look, man, it is what it is. You can't let them get to you. These people, they do it for entertainment. Just don't. Do you. There's so much love in the cannabis community. I'm telling you, over there, there's some great people. I mean, I can name names all day long. But it's really a good vibe there. There's also a lot of trash. But the more good we put there, the more the trash will get noticed. I hope. I might be out of my damn mind. I might be dreaming, whatever. But I understand why you guys are on YouTube. But I don't get Instagram. You guys just get constantly hammered.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Why the heck do you keep going back?
Well, for me, there's no reason. I haven't been canceled on Instagram yet. But you are not wrong. You're 100% not wrong. I feel like Instagram is worse than YouTube when it comes to their censorship around our plant. For me at this point, I this is my justification why I'm on every platform. I create content for a living, so it's my job. So I do just that. I try to create content all around. When it comes to creating plant content, I strongly believe that Twitter is the place to go. Because there is no other platform. I don't care what you think of. I really don't want to sound like I'm an asshole, but I don't really care what you think about Elon. Twitter has been very. I quit calling it X last week. I tried almost a year, man, almost a year, but I just can't get to it. I can't get it. Twitter has made it very vocal that they will accept our content. They will not suppress our content. They said that in a statement, and I think that that's wicked, because then why don't we go over there? The thing is really just viewership, man. Obviously, Twitter gets a huge eye when it comes to content, but YouTube is a whole other machine. YouTube's been paying creators for years. Twitter just started paying creators last year, 2023.
So you can marry the two.
Oh, as a full-time creator, I've diversified my income. So yes, I have multitude ways to make money now.
So
go ahead. Sorry.
Hold on. Do you know who Alfred Mondaire is?
No.
Okay, he's a YouTuber that does this channel called the Chit Show. He films a boat ramp.
I've heard of the Chit Show.
Yeah, in Miami. Right.
Okay. Yep.
So during the pandemic, he would get on Twitter Spaces and invite his audience into the Twitter space while he was doing YouTube lives at the same time. So while all these people are over here typing questions on YouTube, in Twitter, he could take live questions and talk just like me and you are, using both platforms at the same time. So you're earning engagement on Twitter and you're getting your YouTube views.
100%. I won't say that utilizing Twitter is a bad idea, because it's not. I personally get anxious in those situations, having the opportunity to have so many voices. However, that is a wicked concept. That is a wicked idea. And I think that, honestly, with the acceptance of cannabis content on Twitter, I feel like more people should be out there, should be sharing plant content, should be doing exactly what we're doing here over there. We're not. Nobody is. Nobody. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. Very few. Very, very few are. It's recycled content. Nobody's making Twitter specific content in terms of like the big creators. It's all YouTube.
Right.
Like, name a big creator on Twitter. A big Twitter creator. I'll wait. In our space go ahead. I could name a few in other spaces, but at least in our space. So no, I do agree. I do agree with that. Twitter does need to be utilized far greater when it comes to creating content. And that's a great way to do it. I do want to utilize it more when it comes to like using hashtags to start conversations, under the hashtag Tea with P. Do you have any questions for GrayWay? That kind of thing. That'd be a great idea. How long have you been doing Twitter?
Let's see. My original account was in 2011, but I somehow managed to lose the password to the email I needed to reset it. So I had to come back and restart all over. So this time, I think maybe 2021. I
Okay.
don't know.
Yep, 21. I never used Twitter like at all. Really, the only time I ever use Twitter is when I need to bitch at YouTube. That's really the only time because that's it. That's when you can get a hold of them. Drives me nuts.
Well, I think I'm technically a reply guy maybe on Twitter because I repost everybody's thing and then I comment on the stuff I like.
Yep.
That's pretty much my deal. I don't know.
That's awesome, man. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it, right? So it's like
Right.
I literally just before our interview, I had a segment where I said to everybody that I'm creating content that's going to branch out, that's not going to be normal, that's going to probably make people a little uncomfortable at first, but why not? Why not? Why not do something that makes me happy and yeah, it gets people asking questions, right? Where do you see yourself when it comes to creating content? Do you see yourself as a creator at all, or you're just a grower?
Oh no, I'm a consumer of content. I love man. I'm. You won't see the GrayWay tag because I watch it all through my TV streaming, and we've got 2 or 3 little odd accounts set up for different types of programming through that. So I'm subscribed to everybody that way. But the only thing that plays in my house, seriously, is YouTube. Whether it's content creators for snowboarding, fishing, or cannabis, it really is. And a lot of stuff like I do DaVinci tutorials, so I can learn my video editing. But not for me. I do it for my kid because he wants to be a video game creator someday. So I'm trying to figure all that out. But that's what goes in my house, man. So I consume content. That's where I stand on it. And I post my pictures because I like looking, man. I want to see everybody's beautiful plants. Like I do. I can't get enough cannabis feed. I love, man, there's so many cultivars. And then there's so many phenos inside those cultivars. So it's just, I want to see them all, man. I want to smoke them all. It's just how it is.
It's like the can of Pokemon.
Right, please, everybody, pics.
No, that's great, man. I love to hear that, man. Because honestly, I consider myself the same thing. I am a consumer of content, and that's what drives my content. To be honest with you, is that I watch so many different creators from an array of areas of YouTube, and I'm trying to take, and I'll finish my sentence because I'm really good at segueing on a different thing. I want to take my content and merge it with what everybody else is watching on other parts of the internet, because everybody's consuming all different forms of content, and I don't think cannabis, I'm so good at censoring myself. Cannabis content needs to be just, here's my plant and here I go. I like even the way you do it, man, where you have a conversation and then you introduce the plant. It's personality. I want to know, because in my opinion, as someone who has to critique people's gardens quite often, the personality and the attitude of the person that's working on the garden tells me a lot about what's going on in someone's garden. Are you in it? Are you about it? Do you really care about it? What's your passion and drive for this plant? Because I know you're going to do anything you can to make it survive. So, yeah.
So I've got a question, and let's see it in the comments. How many of us just sit there and just stare at our plants for no good reason?
Yep, 100%. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, man. I can't get enough.
Yeah.
I tell everybody this, but the grow is my therapy. I like it more than any part of the plant.
I'm with you, man. That's something I say very often. People, I live by a sentiment, and I'm pretty sure I have this on a t-shirt. I'll never trust a man who doesn't hand water his plants. I say it with great seriousness, but I don't mean it whatsoever. But the thing is that I love the ability to connect with the plant. I love the ability to get it. When I'm watering my plant, I can't just not see the plant. You know, I have to water it in one spot, then I got to turn it a little bit, and I got to water it in another spot, and I just get the ability to take a look at that plant, get to know it, and just see where the deficiencies are, if at all, or just where everything's happening. Do I got leaves falling off, or things that need to be removed, or branches that need to be bent? I love talking to my plant. I feel you're the same way.
Yep. It's the coolest aspect of the deal, man. Like I train my plants constantly. I'm always messing with them. I mess them up sometimes, but it is what it is. I'm real hands on. I'm one of those old hippie growers.
Good. And the thing is from you hippies is where I get my inspiration, because I am also up here in Canada. We call it laissez-faire. It's hands off.
There you go.
And so
right.
I'm the same way, man. I let the plant do its own thing, and I like to kind of just grab the bull by the horns. Go ahead.
Can we circle back to the content creators?
Yeah, please.
So I love this because I dig you, because I think you're a lot like me. You love clowning around. You're always having a good time, funny. It's just always fun with you. And then, like, you take Mr. Growit, he's like all serious, and he's always got the science. It's fabulous. Mm-hmm. And I got Rob. He's a pot snob, man. So I would never in a million years offer Rob any of my pot. No way. I don't want. I would never want to have my feelings crushed. But if he let me smoke some of his first, if he handed me something and he said, "This is top shelf," and I smoked it, I might have a better idea and be like, "Yeah, bro, here you go."
Oh, that's so funny, bro. He's already passed out. I know he is, man, because he's a hardworking dad. But man, I can tell you right now, he is a pot snob. But he's not a pot asshole, man. And the thing is that I have seen people give this man herb countless times, and he is just pot honest. He is going to tell you exactly how he feels. You know the terps he enjoys. He is not shy about it. He is very honest. He enjoys the gas. He wants that funk. He wants that nasty, that little skunky. And if you're going to hand him something and it's going to be fruity and it's going to be, none of those things, he's going to take it and he's going to taste it, and he's probably going to tell you that it isn't his cup of tea. And he's going to be honest too. That's all. So I honestly think I think he has spoken more highly of the home growers that have provided him herb than he has of any dispensary we have ever gone to. So you wouldn't have a problem. Much love to both of them.
And I will say this: if any content creator needs lessons on how to deal with haters, tune into any bass drop keys live, because somebody's gonna say something stupid and he'll be like, "Dummy, what do you think I care about what you say? My pockets is fat. I'm doing my thing. Get out and do yours." That's what he was saying, and it's hilarious, man. He's one of my favorites. Like, his taxes grows up way too thick, and he admits it. He knows he's not putting out top shelf, but he knows he's out here creating content and stacking that paper, and
Honesty
he's happy.
goes a long way.
I love it, man. She talking about dummy? Look at my comments.
No idea. Yeah,
so funny.
Honestly, honestly, the engagement means a lot, because whether it's good or bad, it's engagement, and they don't know this. I think you'll probably know this quote better than I will, but back in the day, they asked, the radio host, Howard Stern. They asked Howard Stern's listeners and people who didn't listen to him why they did it, to their haters, why they listened to him. And they said that they would always want to hear what he was going to say next. So my haters are some of my most loyal viewers. They comment on every episode. they even though they dislike, that means absolutely nothing, because the most disliked video of all time that I have is my stop topping, or no, the autoflowers. It's either the autoflower ones or the stop topping one. It's my most disliked video, and it's still above 85%. So even though you put a thumb down, it means absolutely nothing to the algorithm other than greatness. It's engagement. They comment on all the videos, and oftentimes they get more people to comment on their comments. So you're right. If you, I'm telling you, don't give in to the trolls, and sometimes just let them do their thing. My biggest criticism, people are like, you delete your comments. I'm like, bro, that would be foolish. Unless you are blatantly violating the terms of conditions of YouTube, I'm not deleting anything. YouTube is. So, yeah.
Here's the thing. So you mentioned autoflowers.
Yeah.
And as a legacy grower, I want to touch on that. Mm-hmm. I hear this all the time, and I don't think it's true. I hear people say, oh, autoflowers are for beginners. I disagree. They beat my ass, man. I can't mess with them. With a photo period, something can go wrong. You can fix it. An autoflower, the minute you stress it, the minute you stun it, it's over. It's done. You've got this many days. You better get it right. And new growers very rarely get it right. So I think that anybody that says, new grower, you should be growing autoflowers. No, man. There are plenty of stupid, easy photo periods to start with.
Yeah. You know what? There we go. Now we can take our gloves off. This is where we disagree, because I do believe autoflowers are. I would never, for the record, I would never tell a beginner to grow autoflowers. That would be a horrible idea, because they are different than photos. I think photos are way easier, but I just think in terms of the set it and forget it approach, whereas like you could take a miracle grow. You can feed that plant and let her go. You don't need to worry about changing light cycles. You don't need to worry about having 2 tents if you want to grow with more than one. So you bring up great points, man. And that's the wonderful thing about growing, is that there's so many different ways to do it. That what is the right way? What is the right way?
I 100% agree with you on all those points. The one failure that every new grower makes that ruins autoflowers: overwatering.
I agree 100%. That's actually, in my opinion, that's the number one mistake overall. Any gardener, any grower, that is the number one mistake a new grower makes, is overwatering. I agree. Yep. And I'll ask you first, why do you think?
Because we tend to be nurturing individuals, and we just want it to thrive. It's the same reason people use too much fertilizer. Oh man, it's doing so good. If I give it just a little more, it'll do even better. Nah.
Yeah, that's actually really valid. Actually, I didn't even think about that, because I'm an asshole and I don't think people are great. I'm just kidding.
I do, man.
Yeah, you believe in.
Man.
Go ahead.
You give people a reason to be great, and I truly believe they will be. I believe that the shady individuals come from something that taught them that that's what they needed to be to survive. But I truly believe that everybody has goodness and greatness in them, man. I'm a hippie.
I do agree with you. I'm a facetious ass, and I like to joke. But I do. You believe in people, and they will surprise you. And I tend to be taken advantage of because of my better nature. I like to play the dumb blonde or the nice guy, and people like to take advantage of that. A lot, and that happens quite a bit. But needless to say, oh shit! I had a good question. What was the last thing you mentioned right before we tangent? I've been drinking.
On the autos?
Autos. Oh, was that it?
Man, I don't remember.
Nah, I don't remember
I'm
either,
just
man.
smoking.
GrayWay, it was a wicked conversation, man. I gotta ask if anyone wanted to reach out or get a hold of you or anything, where can they do it? Are you just on the Twitter?
Just on Twitter. I mean, I have a IG, but I don't go there. Every once in a while, if you reach out to me there, it'll probably be months. If I saw you, I do. I just hang out on Twitter.
Okay. No, that's good, man. That's good. Honestly, it's funny because as someone who does social media for a living, I am probably one of the least social media. I have no personal social media whatsoever. I just live under the Pigeons 420 moniker and I just update my accounts. So yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not very social media-esque, if you will. And actually, people hate me for it.
And you can see from my numbers, I try to follow everybody back. Now, it takes a little while, especially over the last week, to get through everybody. And when I do contests, people have to follow me because if you win, I'm going to be the one contacting you so that you don't get scammed. And
okay,
make sure that
sweet.
it's all handled properly.
Sweet. So you do giveaways regularly? I don't even like to say that word, to be honest with you.
Not regularly.
Oh, okay.
I just like to give back to the community. So, and what I'm doing now, growing, is I grow something different every time from seed, and I buy everything. It's all mine. And a lot of these companies, and I also like to do small craft breeder stuff. Like a lot of people have seen lately, I've been doing a bunch of SoCal seed malts stuff, and I'm getting ready to do more for them. Small little craft breeder. I've fallen in love with it. I've gotten everything that he's got. He sends me all kinds of things, takes good care of me. And so when breeders do that, and I have extras that I'm not going to grow, I just want to give them back. So that's what I do.
Appreciate
and like
it. Wow,
the stuff
good for
I'm
you.
giving back now, Mr. Soul sent those to me as a freebie with some of the Brothers Grimm stuff I got. THC Titan sent me that stuff on some of the orders I got from him. So that's what's going on now.
Awesome, brother. Awesome, man. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. We could have talked for another hour.
I appreciate you giving me a platform, man, because this is the conversation I wanted to have. Because maybe you guys will come, maybe you won't. Maybe some of your followers will start making content on Twitter.
Yeah.
We just need more good content. We need more positive vibes. It'll help us out, guys.
I get
Spread
it.
the love.
Man, I think that's a valid message. So if you're looking for somewhere to go, Twitter is willing to have you. And GrayWay, in my opinion, is a great representation of the community over there, doing wonderful things, spreading maybe not an opinion you'll agree with, but an opinion to start a conversation. And honestly, as you know, as someone who's been able to have a conversation with you today, I can tell that you're very open to conversation. You're passionate about this plant, and I think that's great. And I think that's what inspires good conversation. So, GrayWay, thank you so much for coming on today, man. I really appreciate it. Was there a question? Do we have any questions real quick? Or I think, nope, no, okay, good. I just want to make sure. If you were on an island, would you go take an island or a field in the mountains? Deserted island or a field in the mountains? What do you want?
Brother, I got the acres in the mountain. That's what I'm saying right now.
That's what I'm talking about, man. GrayWay, thank you so much for being here, brother. Make sure you guys are following him over on Twitter at GrayWay. We've been showing your handle the whole time, so hopefully you get a couple quality members to the community, man. Thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Y'all.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, GrayWay.
Have a good one.
Peace, homie. Wow. Huge shout out to GrayWay for coming on, man. Wicked conversation, bro. That was epic.